Yo, what is up guys? Insanity here, and today I'm going to be going over what I think are the best Fortnite console settings and sensitivity. I'm going to go over the settings that I use, why I use them, and why I think they're the best settings. Before I get into the video, I also wanted to mention that if you're new, please drop a like and subscribe. I'm going to be uploading a lot of educational Fortnite content for console players in particular. Before we get into the video, I also wanted to announce that I'm actually going to be doing a V-Buck giveaway at 250 subs. The directions are on the screen now. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video and my most recent video, turn post notifications on, and comment your PSN name or Epic Games name below or on one of my other videos. Make sure you guys enter because the winners will be announced in my 250 sub video, and I don't think there will be that many entries, to be honest, so I think you guys should have pretty good odds of winning. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. So in the background, guys, I just have a 14 kills duo gameplay playing, but I'm also just going to be going over what I think the settings are, post-commentary. So I'd first like to say that your settings depend a lot on your playstyle and your preferences, even your past gaming experience. All sorts of factors can really influence what settings work best for you, so there's really no one-size-fits-all when it comes to settings. There's definitely some settings that I think are a must-have, and so I'm going to go over those now. So right here on the screen, you can see my sensitivity. I actually play on 7x, 7y. I used to play on 8.8, but I think that it kind of affected my accuracy a little bit. So the two major factors that you want to think about when it comes to sensitivity is your building speed and your accuracy. As your sensitivity goes up, your building speed, in theory, is also going to go up. And as your sensitivity goes down, your accuracy, in theory, is also going to go up. So it's really, also it depends on X and Y. So for your building speed, your X controller sensitivity is going to have a much larger effect on how fast you can build because it dictates how quickly you can turn and spin and make all the maneuvers you need to make when you're building. Your Y sensitivity will influence your building speed to some extent, but definitely not as much as your X does. So all those top console builders who build like extremely fast, with the clickbait titles, I feel like the hype has kind of passed. But they were always playing on 10 sensitivity, and it was really cool to watch, but in reality, their aim is usually pretty trash. I respect how good they are at building, but it's a big trade-off when it comes to hitting hip-fire shots with shotguns or with SMGs as you're like strafing and jumping, which is really important in Season 5. So I don't really think any sensitivity above, I think a 9 is necessary. I think the sweet spot is actually between a 6 and a 9. So 7.7 works for me. I've tried it out, for a while, and that's worked the best for me. But I think, anything in that range of 6 to 9, you should experiment with and see what works for you. I think that is the sweet spot where you can balance out both your building speed and your accuracy. There's this really good console Fortnite player, Gronky. He's a competitive player. He also makes tutorial videos. He plays, I think, on a 6.6 or a 7.6, and, his accuracy is really good. He never gets outbuilt. So, you don't need that super high sensitivity to compete with the average player that you're going to come across in, your everyday lobbies. So next, for controller ADS sensitivity, I use a 0.5. All this really matters for is when you're using a gun and you're zoomed in, lining your accuracy up rather than just hip firing. This doesn't affect your building speed or close range gunfights for the most part when you're hip firing, but I recommend a lower sensitivity here, somewhere between a 0.45 and 0.65. If you're in this lower range, you'll be able to get a lot more AR pickoffs and hit a lot more of your AR shots. So I stay at a 0.5 and I'm able to hit a lot of my AR shots even from a pretty far distance. So that's personal preference. Again, see what works for you in that range. Also for scope sensitivity, which really just influences when you're zoomed in with a sniper, it's a lot of personal preference depending on whether you like to drag scope, quick scope, or just hard scope. But I don't even use snipers that much, to be honest, but it's really up to you. I use a 0.55 that feels comfortable for me. Just make sure it's not too low to the point where you can't drag at all. And yeah, a lot of this is personal preference, at least for these settings. So next I just want to talk about some in-game control settings. Also, I just noticed I'm a little bit stuffy, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little off. I'm getting over a cold. Anyways, I have sprint by default off. That's a new setting that they just added. I have some friends who've been trying it out, but for me, I'm just so used to sprinting by holding down the joystick, so it's not the best for me. But, try it out if you want. Sprint cancels reloading. You definitely want that off. It can really mess with when you're running and when you're trying to switch guns and stuff like that, so I put that off. Tap to search interact. I have that off, but I'm thinking about putting that on. That's like if you hold X to search a chest, you can just tap it and it'll search the chest for you. Or if you're reviving someone, you can just press the button instead of holding it down the entire way. I like having the control though in case you need to stop like right away. So I'm not really too sure how that works, but I have that off. You might want to try that out. Toggle targeting off. Aim assist, you want that on for sure. I've actually experimented with having it off, and your accuracy will really suffer. So you want that on. You want edit aim assist on. Reset building choice. I personally like that on. So if you're getting shot at, it will automatically revert back to your wall. so you won't have to press that extra button just to get into the preset and then click it. You can just click it and it'll be out already. So if you're getting shot at from behind, you'll automatically have your wall ready, so you can minimize the damage you take. Turbo building, obviously you want that on. Auto material change you want on, in case you run out of mats and you don't want to do it manually. Controller auto run on. For me, auto open doors, you want that off, because if you're in a tight situation like a tilted towers building or something like that, you definitely don't want to have that on, because it will just open your doors and totally mess with your positioning if you're trying to third-person peek someone or something like that. So definitely have that off. And auto pick up weapons, you definitely want that off as well. And then I'd say one of the biggest takeaways from this video is that you should try turning your vibration off. A lot of people that I know who play don't do this, but I played with vibration on for like all of end of season 2 and most of season 3, and I just started experimenting with it off, and I really do believe that turning it off will improve your accuracy with any automatic gun that you hold down the trigger for. Because without your controller shaking, it'll feel unnatural at first. It'll take a little while to get used to, but without it, there's nothing to influence your aim, to increase the odds of your finger slipping or of you, making an error in your crosshairs or something like that. Just having it off just really decreases that likelihood, and in my opinion, it really will improve your aim. So one of the biggest takeaways that I'd say is, try turning your vibration off and see if it works for you. It might not work for everybody, but for me, it's definitely improved my game a lot. So the rest of your settings, like your HUD settings, the size of that, reticle, all that stuff, I think that's a really personal preference. I keep most of my stuff on default. I don't personally play on streamer mode or anything like that. I think that's all personal preference. So that pretty much sums up my settings, guys. I hope they do help you and try them out, and then it makes sense to you why I use the settings that I do use. And I'm just going to hop into a commentary, what's going on in my head in the end of this gameplay. Alright. Alright guys, so as you can see in this gameplay, it started out really slow. I think I had like 1, maybe 2 kills with like 30 people left. So I did not think this was going to be a high kill gameplay. Usually when you get high kill gameplay, it's like over 10. You have at least 3 or 4 early kills when there's still like 30, 40, 50 people left. So I think this was going to be a high kill game, but people just kept rushing us. And these kids are really passive. They're just hiding 1-by-1s and stuff. I didn't think they were the greatest players, so I kind of just pushed them. Take that guy out. See one coming up. You just want to build instantly, if you think another guy's pushing you and you don't really have such a good visual on him. So I just built up, got in position, and just waited him out. He wasn't the best player, so I kind of was a little excessive with my building here. I probably could have just got down and pounced on him, but I just wanted to play it safe because I had a decent amount of kills and I wanted to get the win. So again, I'm kind of just hovering up here, listening for him. I'm getting a little impatient. I see him down there, and I'm kind of just like, alright, this kid's not great, so I'll just go down and pounce on him. So you got to be careful with when you push. Here, I get a nice shotgun shot on him, and push my gun. I don't even think he landed a shot on me. So, be careful with when you push, but if the kids aren't the greatest players and you have a decent amount of health and a decent layout, don't be afraid to go for those pushes right there. So the end of this gameplay isn't that hectic. There's just like a few people left, and they're fighting. So, a big takeaway is, if you see 2 teams fighting and you're in an advantageous position, you should crunch on that. Like, that's how I get most of my kills now. I just realized, like, it's teams that are fighting, and I come when they're fighting, and I take advantage of that. So if I see that, they're fighting it out and they look weak, I'll come from behind and kind of third party. It's annoying when people do it to you, but it's really the best way to get kills without taking damage back. So, it's especially relevant in like solo duos, but also in solos. If there's 2 guys fighting and you can pounce on them, you may be able to take them both out, third party both of them. But the best way to get kills, especially in season 5 when people are just spraying blindly and they're like not aware of their surroundings at all, is to just push when they're fighting and crunch on them and be that third partier that just takes them out without taking damage. So to be honest, the end of this gameplay is actually not that entertaining or hectic. I just got into position early because I knew the storm was coming in and prepared for this guy to come, but he kind of just crawls into the lake. He doesn't have much of an idea what's going on, so I just take him out. I felt kind of bad for the kid. Seemed like he probably never won a game. But anyways, if you guys did stick till the end, I really appreciate it. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you're new. I do plan to upload a lot more frequently. I should have 2 videos coming out this week. I'm thinking about making one about how to increase your KD and how to counteract explosive spammers, which is, rapidly becoming the new meta in Season 5, one of the hardest things to deal with. So if you guys have any, other requests for videos, tutorials, or if you just want gameplay without commentary, like if I have a high kill gameplay just so you guys could watch, let me know, and I'll be sure to respond. I've been responding to all the feedback in the comments, and I really do appreciate it. So that pretty much sums it up, guys. I do appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.